Sentiments from economic experts are generally more upbeat as the year comes to a close. Most respondents in a survey on the expectations for 2022 also feel that the new year will bring better economic conditions despite heightened risks from the COVID pandemic and a growing inflation rate. To talk more on this subject, I'm joined by Economist Mally Likukela. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mally, I'm wondering what if your sentiment is as upbeat as it's generally perceived at this point with regard to the economy of the country.
Yeah, actually, my sentiment is really mixed. I have a mixed sentiment over the economy because this year has been quite a challenging year for Namibia, for the Namibian economy, particularly given the fact that we were not that prepared for the pandemic, and also the fact that we didn't have enough resources to fall back on. But nonetheless, the economy did put a good fight, and we have seen quite some resilience in a number of sectors of the economy. Yeah, so I would say that... Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so I would say that the economy really did put a good fight, and it emerged really quite in a way that we didn't expect.
Can you just give us a bit of a context to that summary that our economy did put up a good fight?
Yes. So the context to this is that the economy didn't lose as much jobs as it was anticipated. The sectors that were expected to really go down, such as tourism, didn't really go that down as we anticipated. And the recovery process from the other sectors like agriculture, mining, really did put quite a good fight in such a short period of time. Mm-hmm. That is why the Bank of Namibia is even estimating that the growth will be positive next year. And we have seen some positive growth on a quarterly basis. This is something that we didn't expect, really, given the circumstances that the economy went through. So the issue is that the economy did manage to pull itself together in very, very short period of time, as can be seen from even the GDP figures that has been released quite recently.
The previous growth projection nationally and internationally, can you just talk to that? Did we hit the target? Did we hit the mark?
Not actually, but we came a bit closer. And like I've said, it is really because we had so much fear that the economy will go down in such a huge dip. But because of the resilience of certain sectors or key sectors like agriculture, which managed to pull up the economy, the target was not hit, but we came a bit closer. And it's really commendable for the economy because other economies are still stuck in a recession or in the COVID-induced recession, unlike our economy.
Yeah. You did mention that the country did not have resources to fall back on. Can you just expand a little bit on that? And do you foresee that as a priority moving forward?
Yes. One of the lessons that I would say that we must learn from the pandemic is that as an economy, as a country, we must have contingent funds, resources that we can fall back in case of a shock or in case of a crisis like the one we just went through. One of the reasons why our economy was the way it is compared to other economies is because we didn't have resources to fall back on. All we had was a budget. It was an operational budget that we managed to run through the crisis. But what we needed, like other economies, was that we needed to have reserves where we can fall back on. If you look at countries like the US, they didn't really have to borrow much to navigate the crisis, but everything that we have used so far to navigate the crisis have to be borrowed. That's a clear indication that the country really needs a contingent fund for in case of emergency such as this. Yeah. We are now very much deep into debt, particularly because of resources that we needed to get to navigate the crisis.
Mm-hmm. Mally, perhaps in conclusion, if you may, which industry do you think would potentially motorize the country's economy immediately? Where should we pay attention now?
Yes, particularly we must pay attention to agriculture sector. because this sector has got multifaceted benefits. It is a job creator and it's also food security. So for the agriculture sector, the only external factor is the climate or the weather, which we really don't have control over. So this sector is a springboard for our economy. Why? Because it has already proven to be a resilient economy even throughout the crisis. If you look at the GDP figures, you'll find that one of the sectors that really pulled up the economy was agriculture sector, and there are so many benefits like I've indicated. It creates jobs. Yeah. There are many job opportunities. It also ensures food security. In a crisis like this, food security is priority, and for an economy like Namibia that has a perpetual issue with regards to food security, this is a sector that is one of the sectors that we can rely on. Number two, the fishing sector and the mining sector. These are critical sectors. Why? Because the appetite of these sectors does not rely on Namibia. The countries that support us in these sectors have already begun to show positive results. So if we prioritize this sector, we can get spin-offs from these sectors going forward. And already, like I've indicated, the economy is already positioning itself for growth next year. Of course, there are some challenges in other sectors, but these sectors can be prioritized, then the economy can be pushed forward.
Economist Mally Likukela, a friend of the NBC, we appreciate your availability all the time. You have yourself a pleasant Christmas, a New Year, and hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Likewise.